Man, is Jose Ramirez a hype job, man? I don't believe he's a hype job, but I believe he's not he's not as good as advertised. He's still a good fighter, but he's not as good as advertised. He's still a good fighter, but you can see Victor Postal Victor Postal was giving him a lot of problems. He couldn't figure out that jab. He couldn't figure out he couldn't figure out getting in between. He couldn't figure out this timing and spacing. He had very bad. He couldn't figure out timing, spacing, and he was had problems judging how to cut down the ring, make the ring smaller, and a lot of things he could have did to take away the jab. His offense is too simplistic. He really need to learn how to set traps and use different traps to get inside and keep his opponent guessing what he's gonna keep his opponent shouldn't be able just to keep him at bay with a simple jab and a simple movement. It's like Victor Poster had him off balance and had him on his toes. He couldn't figure out which angle, which way to come in, because he couldn't get past that jab, and that jab was a big key. The big jab and movement was a big key. But if he was able to neutralize Victor Poster's jab, Victor Poster wouldn't have been able to move as much as he was because he was able to do that because of the jab. The jab was allowing him. The jab was allowing him to move around the ring without getting timed and getting hit, anything like that. He was Jose Ramirez is too simplistic in his setups. His setups is not sophisticated enough to keep somebody like Victor Postal guessing. Guessing. He could have did better with the jab. Most, but if you don't know, if you're not that advanced, and you've been fighting a lot of people that is not as not as advanced as Victor Postal, he able to hit that jab and moves. Every time he throw the jab, he moves, and that was giving Ramirez a lot of problems. It wasn't just him wasn't able to cut the ring off. It's that he couldn't take away that jab. If he was able to stop that jab, Victor Postal wouldn't have been able to move, get out the back door so easy. But since you can't solve one problem without solving the other problem, you couldn't even get past the jab, didn't even stop the movement. So if you would have cut the ring off, he still would have ran into the jab. So it's like it wouldn't even make no sense for him to even cut the ring off, because he would cut the ring off. He can't. The guy's still popping the jab, so you gotta be able to solve the jab first. You gotta be able to solve the jab first. You can't even stop the jab. So you cut the ring off, you're gonna run into the jab. So if it didn't make no sense for him to even cut the ring off, because he's gonna eat the jab anyway. So it's like he couldn't even well, let me explain what he could have did with the jab. He could have caught the jab. He could have even, if he would have caught up with the rhythm and timing of it. If he would have known, he could have caught the rhythm and the timing of the jab. He could have threw his jab with it and caught the jab and threw his jab with it. That would have neutralized Victor Postal throwing his jab so much. Or he could have just pulled back or he could have pulled back and countered it, or he could have rolled it and came over top. There's all kind of ways to stop him. If that was Marcus, if he would fight against somebody like Marcus Madonna, he wouldn't have been able to throw that jab that much because he would have been eating Marcus Madonna jab. Marcus Madonna would have got in. He wouldn't have been able to move as much around the ring on Marcus Madonna because if he wouldn't had the jab to move, Marcus Madonna would have came in. Marcus Madonna would have gave this guy all kind of help with his own jab, him catching the jab, and him coming timing it and coming over top it. So the way he looked as good because he was giving problems that he couldn't solve. He couldn't solve, so he kept doing the same thing all night. He was running into the same problem all night. And that was making him hesitant to even throw his shots. And even when he was throwing his shots, he was way off because he wasn't able to get past the jab and the foot movement. It was two problems giving him all kind of problems all night. And he wasn't able to solve one problem. He had two problems he couldn't solve, so the guy just did the same thing all night. Just jabbed and moved. And looked like he was an easy victory for Victor Postal, but they just gave it to Ramirez because the promotion and judges mostly paid off. You got to really do something really spectacular to get a victory for Victor Postal because he not the big name in the situation. But that's what happened to Ramirez. Is he a hype job? I wouldn't say that, but I say he's not ready for the A-level competition. If he would have fought somebody like Terrence Crawford at this time, he would have been really exposed because Crawford would have did more than just jab and move. He would put power on it. He would have went to the body more. He would have broke him down to the body and hit him with different combinations and probably would have hurt him. He's not ready for nobody. He's not ready for the very elite competition like a Earl Spence or Terrence Crawford, somebody that can really hurt him. Yep, they need to slow down Ramirez and go back to the drawing board, or even get a new trainer or somebody, or even not get a new trainer. Start learning new things on your own. You can learn different things on your own. It all depends on how dedicated you are to being great at what you at your craft. If you know you got some weaknesses, you can choose to work on them. If your coach don't want to work on them, you can work on them in your spare time. Or find another coach or add somebody else to the team. All kind of things you can do these days in time. You made a few dollars, you can work on a few things. But this is my opinion on Jose Ramirez, Victor Postal. Keep banging, y'all.